send us your short film. I've got to come up with a better intro than that. I'll do better next week, guys. I'll do better next week. But anyway, yes.
I don't know why it was funny, but it was.
So yes, send us your short film. And we've got one. We've actually had one sent into us. So I watched this and I really enjoyed it. So, Velvet, tell us a bit about it.
Okay, cool. So I just want to say thank you to those of you that tweet us and DM us and email us your movie requests. And that's how I actually found this short, is the makers of this short actually tweeted us, hey, check out our short. And I did. And I was like, wow, this is really good. So spoiler alert, it's a good short. So this is actually a horror short and it's international. So it's called Bestemming Bereikt, but they were kind enough to give us English subtitles for this. This is a Dutch short film horror film. I don't know. I can't say words together.
A short Dutch horror film.
So you can't say it either.
No, I can't. Anyway,
I don't know why. No, it's all joking aside. So this was actually, it's called Bestemming Bereikt, or Destination Reached. It is in Dutch. It was made in Holland, and this was actually crowdfunded, which is pretty awesome. They set up a little CineCrowd fundraiser online to make this short, and all they asked for was a donation of 1,000 euros, and they got 1,000 euros, and they got 41 supporters. So 41 people helped to make this film with their donations. It's a 16-minute short. And although it's so short, it tells a lot of story, it builds a lot of suspense, and it has a really unusual twist at the end that just kind of makes you go, I'm not sure if I understood what happened. So it's something you can definitely rewatch and you can discuss with your friends. So if you want to check out Destination Reached, you can actually go to YouTube. They created their own channel, and you can watch it there. All you do is type in the search bar short film horror Destination Reached. Well, also, if you follow us on our social media, I will tweet occasionally so you can find this and go watch it. I can't tell you too much about the story because it's a 16-minute short, and if I reveal too much,
yeah, I know,
you're going to know too much of the story. So, but I can just say this much. It starts off with a police officer responding to a message on the police radio, and he ends up at an abandoned movie theater to check out a disturbance. And what happens there will change his life and possibly yours forever. So, great story. And what did you think about this short?
I loved it, to be, honest. I mean, there are a lot of short films which sometimes are just so pretentious. They've got to pack so much stuff into such a short amount of time. And it's also quite often they're sometimes made by people who think that their abilities are much greater than they actually are. But in this case, this is not true at all. This is really well done. It's really well thought out. It's really well shot. The story is absolutely, it's fascinating. The story, and the one thing that the movie is 16 minutes long, if I'm not correct, I'm correct, I think 16 minutes.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
You will spend not 16 minutes talking about this film after you've watched it. You will probably spend 3 hours, 16 minutes talking about this film, because I guarantee you, if you watch this with a group of people, every single person will have a different idea about what this movie or how this movie ends.
Exactly. And that's there's a couple things that really impressed me about this. First off, for 1,000 euros, I thought the production value on this was much higher. They really put these resources to good use. It's a high quality short film. Never at one point was I like, oh, that looks cheap. Oh, that looks fake. Like you never get distracted by the budget. of this short. Also, for how short it is, it does a really good job of building and holding suspense. And there's even some jump scares. I'm like, how in the world do you have time to have jump scares in a 16-minute story? And they pulled it off. So this is definitely worth checking out. So if you're the kind of person you're like, oh, I don't have time to watch all these movies all the time, you can take, 16 minutes for yourself, make yourself a cup of tea, or a cup of coffee, grab an energy drink, whatever. Just sit down for 16 minutes and watch this. And your brain will be entertained for hours because you will be rethinking the story and like, well, what did this mean? And well, is this what happened? And what about that? Like, definitely worth checking out. So, Bestemming Bereikt, or Destination Reached, a short film by Ivar Tillema. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, look, I recommend everyone, search this out. Subscribe. You can subscribe to them, obviously, on YouTube, as you said. But even if you don't subscribe, watch it. You'll enjoy it if you're a fan of horror suspense, especially suspense. Then I think you'll like it. I can see lots of different things in this movie. Like, I know when I was watching it, recollections of The Ring and things like that came into my mind. There's a little thing that happens in this movie where when the police officer is in the cinema and then suddenly a movie just starts to play for no apparent reason, and the little movie which is played within the movie in itself is really spooky. Actually, it's really spooky.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, it's I really, really liked it. And although I think we should actually say, because I know we keep saying that this is Dutch, because of course I know everyone gets this wrong when they say, "Oh, it's Holland." It is, of course, the Netherlands. Yes. Because Holland is part of the Netherlands. It's not the actual whole country. But I really, I only say that because I know we've got some listeners over there, and I don't want to offend them. But it's a great little movie, and I really loved it. It did keep me like on the edge of my seat watching it all the way through, and some, like you said, some spooky moments, and definitely check it out. It's great.
And disclaimer, I'm sure we've mentioned that, but just one more time, this is in Dutch language. It is subtitled in English. Please don't let the language barrier put you off watching this. Take the 16 minutes to read the subtitles. There's not that many, and it's really more of a visual experience than it is a language barrier. So definitely give it a try. I think more people need foreign cinema in their lives.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely check this one out.
Well, when we say foreign cinema, we're referring to non-English speaking.
No, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Exactly.
And but the other thing though is the dialogue in this movie. There's not a lot of it. So even if you're not big into reading subtitles when you what is it? We had someone on the other week who said they preferred to watch their movies than to read their movies.
Right.
But
that was Count Kenny.
Oh,
he loves. He's like dub everything. He's like. He watches a lot of, he loves Asian cinema, like samurai, kung fu fighting, any kind of fighting film. He's like, dub it all. He's like, I don't want to read.
It's but
I know, I think that's a shame, but that's his preference.
But it's but there's of the 16 minutes, there's probably only about 5 minutes of dialogue.
Right.
The rest is all suspense. It's pure suspense. So definitely don't let any of that sort of put you off. It's there was but the other thing though, I have to say, we're not going to give away the ending. We don't even want to tell you too much more about what happens because it's such a short movie. But the one thing is that after we watched this, Velvet and I came up with two, and we won't say what it is, but we came up with two totally different interpretations of this movie. Your idea was 100% different to what my idea was. And that was interesting with itself, that we got something very different out of the one story. And I think that's fantastic. Because
I likened it to poetry interpretation, how people can interpret art or poetry in totally different ways. We all receive a different message. And you said it reminded you of back in school when you had to interpret Animal Farm.
Animal Farm. I can still remember we had to read Animal Farm when I was at school. Sort of forced reading, and of course, Animal Farm comes with a secondary book which actually lists who all the characters are. Who they're meant to be in real life, the different farms. It's meant to tell you, what countries they're meant to be, and and all that sort of stuff. And I can still remember, and so we had to have these, discussions ad nauseum, about Animal Farm. And I can still remember one kid just stood up and sort of said, "Sir, did you ever think that he just woke up one morning and said I'd write a fun book about animals?"
He actually said that?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. Good for him. I'm still friends with that guy, actually. So,
that's somebody you stay friends with for life. You need forward-thinking people who go against the status quo. Good for him.
I know. I won't name him on air, but it was it was one of those classic moments from school. Yes, Inus Don'tus Knowus. Don't worry, there's somebody listening who will get what that joke means. Anyway, oh yes, the joys of growing up in a private school. Anyway, definitely check this out. It's a great little short film. So
definitely. So Bestemming Bereik, the short film by Ivar Tillema, and follow us on our social media. We'll plug that at the end of the show. That way you can find the link to this and watch it.